How many metaphors do you need as Trump has been controlling the Russia collusion heroin from the beginning? And he might have sent too strong of a dose to certain people who took it as the salacious truth that they wanted it to be and put themselves in a inconceivable position of acting un-American against a duly elected president. And don't we know where all that money comes and goes? So the question was, and the question was posed, do you honestly believe? Okay, here we go. Let's start with that. Question. He's asking us a question. We start there. Do you, John Toll, in my fullness, as I sit here in the 18th of April, 11:35 in the morning at the 4256 Production Center, a mile high here in Denver, 17 levels below the Denver airport. That's Whiskey and the Surfer, and that will be up later. Okay, question. Do you, me, John Toll, we're here now. Just going to tell you the truth. Honestly believe? Is there another way to believe? Can you dishonestly believe? You can believe in your dishonesty. Does that make sense? But is it true? And if your honesty about an untruth, how can that be honest when the very untruth that's happening, if you were honest about it, you would say that it was untrue? We have to be very aware of the words that we use when we're describing things that are happening, and don't get caught into, and then this is how the media does this. This is how people control narratives. Because you read that, I could read the sentence in a half second and run by it and give you an answer. Would I be coming from the same place? Yeah, because I'm going to tell you what I honestly believe. Because the state of this is about understanding your being, and in the understanding of your being, the sense is to then just be. And to be so in the truth of the nature that you are, in the same way that there's truth around us in the nature, as the trees don't doubt herself, and you don't see the fucking birds running around complaining. They're out there singing. And shouldn't we be doing the same thing? Should not we be singing the glory of what it's like to come together as Americans and treat each other as Americans deserve to be treated? Heaven forbid. Do you honestly believe that any, a small portion, a sliver, 0.00 to the infinite number, all the way to the end before you stop counting and you throw a 1 on that? Any. In the manner of all, would you find any? Do I believe in the all, I will find any? That is that question of these people, very, very broad, because I talked about a lot of people in the video before. So instead of looking at it in the people that are knowingly and unknowingly, legally and illegally endeavoring to continue this hoax, or to continue to endeavor to work in conjunction with other state entities to do un-American things in the sense of making themselves rich and making Americans feel less American and less loved. Do I honestly believe that any of these people are crooks? Is that the exact wording? God, do you believe honestly that... question, do you honestly believe that any of these people aren't crooks? So if you take the people... So you're asking me, are people crooks? I think crooks are crooks. As a comedian, as a person who's funny, everything that I do isn't funny. Everything that I do isn't comedic. I could say, if from the standpoint of, if I believe that I'm 100% funny, then my 100% humor is available in all situations as I choose to use it. Crooks are crooks. Killers are killers. Con men are con men. Politicians act like politicians. Conspirators act like conspirators. Do I believe that there are crooks involved at any level of this? Obviously, because there is money that more than likely has been raised or is being protected by illegal means to allow illegal activities to continue. So when you ask a question, do I honestly believe that any of these people aren't crooks? Well, I would have to say that good people on all sides more than likely have engaged in criminal behavior. What's the book that the guy came out with, either in the 80s or the 90s, that everybody, you're a guy with a job, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you work, you go to lunch, you drive home, You have dinner, you bang your wife, you watch TV, you go to bed. They say that that person unwittingly commits 3 felonies a day. So, if that is the reality as the federal law has been written, that the average person knowingly or unknowingly commits 3 felonies a day, and you have an apparatus built where all you have to do is show me the man, I'll show you the crime, and we take the ability for AI to run wild like Hulkamania and to go out and get what it's programmed to go out and get, what is there, and you weaponize that machine to dig into somebody's reality and make attachments and say blank, 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 and there you go. So all crooks are crooks. Not all crimes are done by criminals. Because if a person is unknowingly and unwittingly aware and they're just going about their legal version of the day, well, unbeknownst to them, federal statutes exist that, I don't know, 17 bad motor infractions in a row mean that you lose your license and you continue to drive without a license, and it all happened within 6 minutes as you road raged around somebody and cut them off and caused them to crash on the road, and you flipped them off the bird and you sped down. According to this drone footage that we have, would you like to sign that ticket? So how bad do you want to investigate? How bad do you want to investigate the investigators? Something interesting to consider. So in the macro, people are, and I'm not going to start the 80s song. People are people. Everybody has an individual ability to be their being at their fullest and their greatest. There may be people who, politicians are politicians, lawyers are lawyers. We've had so many lawyers as politicians now that the law's been so twisted that we don't trust politicians. More than likely, they've given us the track record that we shouldn't. And we shouldn't watch lawyers. We should have scientists. We should have military personnel. We should have, we should have moms and dads. We should have small business owners. We should have people who are altruistically leading the good of America because they believe in their heart of hearts that this country needs to be altruistically led for the good of all, not for the bottom line of somebody else's profit. And if the AI is going to run wild like Hulkamania to find one day 3 felonies in every single day, what has it already ran through 650,000 stolen emails? And what has that computer brought back and found out? And what is the plan you could make with that information as it was presented to you and you gave your theory back to the computer and it ran back out and it said, this is what we found out in the future based on these decisions if you make them. And the timeline of how they will be reacted to and how they will be reacted to, and they keep switching. Remember, they said that Donald Trump's power on Twitter is because he's using machine-driven NLP. He's using the most impactful words in the most impactful order to make the people who love him, and to make the people who hate him, hate him. It's purposefully done to drive data back into the machine that gets them more information, so when they send the robot out to find out what's in the future, they get the most dialed back information so they can change what's happening in the map now because they know where they're going. And so if you know that there's been a neocon gross both sides of the aisle engaging in illegal activity to keep themselves in this position in power, and you know that the technology is coming to strip every level of the government from its illegal, illicit, the greed and all of it, and all of the, whatever business you have that brings money into your deal, and the computer's going to find that out, and we're all going to find that out because we're all going to be connected into it, then let's get ahead of it. Let's pull out the garbage from the middle of the country. Let's give it one last hurrah of people you believe in. Let's reach across the aisle and come together to decide that this is all going to be run by that altruistic computer, because what other choice do we have as technology improves? So that's my answer to that. I'm going to be back later. Jack Dorsey, fasting, and I'm going to put you in a situation that you could never fathom in a million years. And I want you then to, with that set of facts that I present to you, I will invite you, again, won't, try, what's the other one, should have. I'm on that word diet. And when you're on that word diet, when those words come in, catch it. And go, aha, what are you doing, dude? That you're saying something that isn't. I'm going to invite you to learn about Jack Dorsey and a time that existed beyond your reality. And we'll see if your programming that you live in right now, this second, would have made it in the scenario that I craft. Because your programming should work in all maps and all scenarios at all times. If it's indeed true. weaponsgradefaith.com